Yo guys, it's your boy King Abe is here, back again with another video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a tactic in FM24. Let's go. So guys, if you're looking to create a tactic in FM24 and you haven't done it before, or you have been creating tactics but you think you're doing it wrong, this video is exactly for you. I'm going to show you how I would create a tactic. There's multiple ways you can do it. I'll probably show you about 1 or 2 ways that you can create a tactic. So to start off, of course, get to the tactics control page, obviously. Once you're here, you'll see a screen like this. Now, the first way you may want to create a tactic is by using what the assistant manager already recommends. And in this case, my assistant is recommending 3 different tactical styles based on the players. Now, if you're someone who's unsure, maybe you're managing a team that you don't know too well player-wise, or you're not sure what formation or tactic is best for your players, use these as a good indication of what you should use. So, for example, in this case, Albert, who's our assistant manager, he's saying we can either do control possession, gegenpress, or wing play. Now, I might decide I don't want to do wing play, but gegenpress is exactly what I want to do. So this, then it gives me an indication, you know, what formations here at the top it works best with. So I know it works best with 4-3 with a DM, or 4-2-3-1, or 4-2-4. And it also gives me information about tactical style, what mentality it's going to have, some of the information about in possession stuff, in transition, and out of possession. Now, as you can see here, it says Albert believes this style is to be well suited to the players in my squad. I can obviously choose a formation, as I said. It also have a thumbs up on formation they think is best. Now, in this case, I know, because I know the team, I know the formation he's suggestion isn't actually probably the best for the team. He's saying do a 4-2-4. Now, this is Arsenal. I know we don't really have great forwards like strikers to have 2 strikers up top here, you know, because in this formation I know that means Odegaard is not utilized, so I wouldn't personally use this formation. But let's say, for example, you didn't know the squad and you did take their suggestion. This then gives you your formation on your tactic. So I can just literally start putting players into the squad. So I can put, okay, I want David Raya, about right back I want Ben White, I want William Saliba, Gabriel, etc, etc. In this case, I'm just going to just let it pick the squad for me. As much as this is great, this tactic here is not utilizing the players correctly. Like, it's got Odegaard in a ball winning midfielder role. He's not even that, that's not for him. So he's got William Saliba or not ball playing, which is what I would prefer. What else? It's got Nketiah and Jesus up top, which wouldn't really work well. There's no real creative force in this team. This is why I would create my own tactics. So let's do it again. Create a new tactic. In this case, I'm going to create my own style. Now, I think when it comes to tactics, you've got to have your formation that you want and almost say yourself, I'm going to stick to it. So in this case, I want a 4-3-3. So I've got a couple of options. I've got 4-3-3 DM wide here. If I go to other formations here, you can see there's some others. There's another one pretty much the same, 3-4-3. If I want to do that, there's other ones here. There isn't any other 4-3-3s, which is fine. So I'm going to select this and press confirm. Once I'm here, I might decide to do a 4-3-3 like that. 4-3-3 like that. I guess, I mean, this is a 4-2-3-1, but you could call it a 4-3-3, I guess, but I might decide I want to do a flat 3. In this case, I've actually decided to change my mind. I want a 4-2-3-1. Now let's remove the players, because I'm creating the formation, and I'll either put the players in the spot or create or buy the players to fit the formation in the tactic that I want to create. So in this case, I want to sweep a keeper. I want it on defend. I want it on defend. Defend duty for sweeper keeper just means that, as you can see here, the keeper's a little bit more cautious, but they'll still try to play counter-attacking balls when they're on. You know, they're going to rush out, you know, sweep as the name sounds. So defend. Right back, now right back or fullbacks in this case, I usually go between fullback and wing back. In this case, I like to go fullback attack, and I like both of them to be matching. So both my fullbacks to attack, and what that means in short is that they're going to be running up and down that and the byline, and you know, as it says here, they are primarily a defensive player, but they will get forward and be that extra body each and every time, which is exactly what I want. Centre back wise, of course, I want 2 ball playing defenders. For me, that's how I like to play. I like to have a team that's going to play out the back. Next, we go into midfield. Now, these 2 roles are probably one of the key roles in any team. I almost always have a ball-winning midfielder in my squad, usually on defend. Reason why? Because I think 9 times out of 10, you need someone who's going to do the dirty work. It's usually this person here. Next to him now is where it differs. Sometimes I do box-to-box, but that also depends on the personnel. But I like to do a deep line playmaker support. So this person is going to be the person kind of to make those over the top balls, be creative, as it says here, you know, primarily a creative player, but they have to also have some defensive mindset. That's my 2 centre midfielders sorted. Next are my 2 wingers. Now, in this case, I know the Arsenal wingers, but let's imagine I was a different team. I might say, okay, I don't want to have traditional wingers where, you know, you have a right-footed winger on the right-hand side, the left-footed winger on the left-hand side. I want someone like a Mo Salah or a Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer, etc., a Vinny Jr. to cut in. So I know I either want an inside forward or an inverted winger. Now, the difference between inside forward and inverted winger, I actually don't know. I just think inverted winger means they cut in a bit more frequent onto their weaker foot. So in this case, I want an inverted winger here on attack, and the same on this side, inverted winger. Now, I know this means they're going to cut in a lot and shoot a little bit more often. So next is our cam, our attacking midfielder, however you want to call it. Now, in this role, I usually go for an advanced playmaker. Advanced playmaker just means they can operate in that central midfield role, and in short, as the description says, they're going to drop into holes in between the midfielders' defense and midfield. So that kind of where the DM would sit and make themselves available for passes, and then, you know, make those killer balls. That's how that would be. And of course, up front, you know, I usually have it on advanced forward. That's the main role, I say, in FM in general, not just FM24, but in general, the last couple of years. But another one that I like to use is deep lying forward. So if I have a striker that is good on the ball, can hold up play, I think he's exactly what I want to link the midfield and the attacker. But I usually use that one if I have 2 strikers. I usually use advanced forward, which we're going to stick to in this case. Now I've actually created my formation. I haven't necessarily created my tactic, I've created my formation, which is perfect. Now let's go into the other things you have to do to finish off your tactic. To finish off your tactic, of course, one of the things we're going to have to do is select, you know, what our mentality is going to be. Now, this is key. This is probably one of the most important things about any tactic. The reason being, if you're a team that should be fighting for the league, or say the squad you have is better than most in the league, you need to be looking at positive or attacking and having that as your default. If you're a team where, especially if you're doing Gegen press, for example, or you're doing a very counter-attacking type formation where you expect to sit, cautious is what you want. Now, I don't know what situation where you'd have it by default on defensive or very defensive. Maybe if you had a very defensive team, like one of the Italian teams, you know, that kind of Italian mindset, like, you know, Jose Mourinho type, then maybe you would have it on that default. I've never had it on that, just by default. Obviously, in the late game, where we're winning 1-0, was like 5 minutes ago, I pop it on very defensive, you know? Same for very attacking. I don't know what situation you'd have it on very attacking all the time. So usually positive, balanced, or cautious is like the main 3. In this case, I want positive. Now in possession, how I want my team to play is very simple. I want to play out defense. So that's my approach play. I want to play out defense. You know, I want us to work the ball in the box. So sometimes I take this off, sometimes I don't. But in this case, I want to keep it on because it means I want to stop us taking long shots for no reason if we don't need to. So I want us to be fairly narrow as well. I want us to have shorter passing. I want to up the tempo a little bit. I want my players to be expressive. This is just a more so, you know, you're going to see players leave their position be a bit more free in terms of how they are. Then in transition, as you would have seen in a lot of my tactics, I like my team when possession's been lost to counter press. So I'm going to select that, which means as soon as that ball's been lost, we're trying to get that ball straight away and we're going to press that team. And same for, and the possession has been one, I want us to counter instantly. So it's very quick. Now, goalkeepers, I want us to distribute quickly. And I want him to distribute it to my fullbacks and my centre backs, because obviously I've set my centre backs as ball playing. My fullbacks in this case, so I set them a fullback attack. I know they should be quite competent on the ball. Other things I sometimes do is distribute to playmaker. So in this case, you might do it to the deep line playmaker or try to get the ball to the cam. But I think I usually stick to this. And then same for distribution type. This is all, you know, up to you. I like to have it rolled out. I also sometimes leave it so the keeper can actually make the decision based on the situation he's in. Then, of course, out of possession, because I want my team to press, I want us to press quite high. Yeah, there we go. High press, and I want us to have a higher line, you know, so we can kind of keep the team in, so we can kind of push that opponents in their own half. They can't get out. I want us to prevent goalkeeper from doing distribution. So sometimes I have my striker on advance, as I said, but the other time I have it is on pressing forward. And pressing forward, of course, will press, you know, so that works well with having prevent the keeper from doing short distributions. Again, tackling, as you would have seen, you have get stuck in, you will have a lot of yellow cards, a lot, but they do make a lot of tackles. Then their feet, I don't really use this one, but it stops people from fouling. If you have that problem, you have a lot of players with high aggression, you can stop that. Defensive line, again, you can tell them to step up more, but I usually leave that. Pressing, I usually leave. And here you can stop crosses if you want to, or you can invite them. So it's very, very simple. And that literally is how you can create a tactic. Obviously, I just explained this is how I would create a tactic without looking at the team. But in this case, I know the team. But if you didn't know the team, one thing you can do is, you know, go to your squad, do it based on ability. So in this case, Declan Rice. I know I need him to start in my starting lineup. So when I'm creating my tactic, I create a tactic that I know Declan Rice is playing in his most favoured role and duty. So I click on his name. Cool, I know he wants to play in as DM or a midfielder, but in this case as a DM. But I know he can play as a midfielder, but as a DM, and I know he wants to play as defensive midfielder in a support role. If I was trying to fit the tactic to suit him, I would go DM, defensive midfielder, support role. I would say maybe Declan Rice. You know, that's exactly another way you can do that. You can do that across the whole field. So I can say the next best person is Martin Odegaard. Do the same thing for him. So I'd go, he actually wants to, but in the game we're saying he's a midfielder, centre midfielder, an advanced playmaker in support role. I would then do that instead of putting him here. Next, same for Bukayo Saka. On the right hand side, he wants to play as a winger. Cool. Etc. etc. Until you get to like, maybe you start getting to your 3-star players. I've got my main squad here, my best players here. I'm going to fit the squad to these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. And then everyone else will have to fit into that. So that's how I would create a tactic. So to anyone that's beginning, playing FM, it's the first time they played FM, or you have played FM, but you never really knew how to create a tactic properly, this is exactly how you do it. I hope it helped. And don't forget to subscribe, like the video if it helped you out. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.